Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video. Paul is going shopping and I'm staying at home with the baby dog, and he will come into the living room in a moment. He is there by the door. Come to me, baby. Come. Yes, there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. So he is. I don't know if Paul has already. I don't want to show the license plate number. So he is about to drive off the parking lot. And so baby dog is. He wanted to go with him, and he's now by the balcony door looking out. There is Paul driving off. Bye. Bye. I don't want to accidentally show the license plate number. So too bad we have to have license plates. That's another real obstacle for making videos. But anyway, I have the disco light on, and I'm listening to the Requiem by Mozart. And it's nice and cozy. We made it nice and cozy. It is cold outside, but we have 3 heaters on. It's very nice. And the baby dog is feeling good. I will show the baby dog in a moment, looking out the balcony door. But he also has this couch here. That couch there that I bought for the papa. That is now baby dog's couch. Papa gave him the couch. It's a love seat. It's like a 2-seater couch, and just the perfect size for Papa and the baby Elon. Papa Dave and baby Elon. So for Kenny, this love seat would be too small. We got that for the Papa. We got that after Kenny. We got Kenny, our former Great Dane, extra large Great Dane. We got him 2 really large couches, and we brought both of those to the other house already. So yeah, we always take turns. When one person has to go somewhere, then the other person stays with the baby dog. Yes, that is what we're doing. It's nice, baby dog. Yes, oh yeah. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So, and then we go together, all 3 of us. And one goes shopping, the other person stays with the baby dog in the van. And that's how we always do it. That's how we have been doing this with the last 3 dogs. So we take our dog everywhere we go, and that is the way we should do this. Okay, and that's why I want to call this video "Bring Your Dogs in the House." I don't know how many videos with that title I have made over the last 10 years. But I will continue to make videos with that title, because this is obviously a very urgent issue and very important message for the world, because I want everyone to bring their dogs and their cats and all animals, all domestic animals, bring into the house. Domestic means in the house, actually. That's what domestic means. Domesticated means bred and evolved for living in the house. That's what that means. Okay, so you have your retarded child at home. You don't put your retarded child on a chained to a doghouse in the ice cold weather in a t-shirt and underpants or diapers. No, you don't do that. Don't do it to your animal either. This is a very important message for the world. There is no difference between your retarded human child and your animal, okay? In terms of sentience, in terms of feeling, and beyond that, I talked about it many times. I talked about it in my last video. Just because your IQ is higher than your partner or your animal or your child or whoever or your parent doesn't make you have more rights in terms of sentient rights. Okay? I always hear people say, what do you want? You want voting rights for dogs? Bro, that's a retarded question. Well, obviously, do I want voting rights for your retarded child? No. Actually, if you ask me another question, do you want voting rights for people with an IQ below, let me be generous here, below 80? I'll say, no, I don't want people below 80 IQ have voting rights. This is very, very politically incorrect to say that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be called racist for this. But if you call me racist for this, you're the one shooting into your own foot, because I didn't mention race. Is that obviously there are people from all races with an IQ below 80. Statistics show us the different IQs. In Japan, the average IQ is 100. So, in Africa, the average IQ is like 60 or 70. I'm not making this up. This didn't come from me. Okay, so the evaluations are out there. You can be in denial about it. I said it many times before. But let's not get into statistics, because this is very serious, this subject. Okay. Just because you're smarter than your partner or animal or child or parent or whoever that is, your aunt, okay, who lives with you, who depends on you. Baby dog, behave yourself. Just because you're smarter doesn't give you more rights in terms of having it warm, having food on the table, having clean water to drink, okay, living in the house cozy on a couch with a jacket or sleeping bag over you. You don't have more rights in that term, okay? Yeah, you have voting rights. Yes, oh, good for you. That's still way beyond the voting and all of that. That doesn't weigh that much in general. Judy Krishnamurti talks about all of this. With higher intelligence comes more responsibility. So we have a responsibility to vote for the right person, not the wrong person, okay? So let's take the right turn. Right turn here. Right turn only. Okay. So we've come to that point now. I used to do left turns a lot when I was driving and voting. Yes, I did. But that was a different era. That was the era of... I want to make a photo with him together after the video. This is important. I want to make a nice photo for the video with my baby dog. Yes. So, the left is no longer left. Just in case you have noticed it yet. So, the left has been hogged by the corporate agenda. Okay, so the right has always been hogged by the corporate agenda, but the left has been hawked now like hook, line, and sinker. Okay. So they have put all of their focus now on the left, particularly the Democratic Party, and so they left the Republican Party alone for a while, which gave the Republican Party to get a breather and sort themselves out and get some more good people in there, because the good people could no longer tolerate the complete sellout of the Democratic Party, or the Green Party has been corporate from day one. Also, the Green Party was always used to just take votes away from the Democratic Party. That was before Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was hired to run against Hillary Clinton, that was all planned years before, of course. They play 100 chess moves ahead, trust me on that. Then, with the advent of Barack Obama in the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, by the way, used to be a Republican, and he is the oil industry. So, with the advent of the oil industry hawking the Democratic Party no longer existed. It had become merely a facade. That's all. But most people don't understand that, because obviously very few people talk about this. Very few people talk about this. It's all factual, okay? I'm on the side of truth. I'm on the side of justice. And if I see one group or this group or that party turning sour, turning corporate, I withdraw from it. I have nothing to do with that anymore. I used to vote green in Germany a long time ago. That's when I was very young, 20 and stuff, like stupid, naive, okay? I didn't know better, just like young people today don't know better, but that's why I make videos to tell you don't make the same mistakes that we did in the past. Because people have been making the same mistakes with naivety and all of that, believing everything. That's why the corporate agenda is able to set their feet into the door of the government as they have. So, and that's just, it has spiraled so far out of control that the real estate investor Robert Kiyosaki, very famous person, he said that we are this close now to an inflation and an economic collapse that actually surpasses the inflation and the depression and the economic collapse of post-World War II. Just to put this into perspective here, that's what naivety and greed has caused. If you don't look over people's shoulders, then they'll just do whatever they want to do. They don't even care about their own future. They can only think about their own short-term monetary gain, their corruption, and what they can scrape out of that situation. So they're not thinking about the future home. All these things will unravel and dwindle. Okay, they don't think about it. I can start any subject and go into politics or into economy or into ecology. I can start anywhere. I can start my videos at any point. I can start my videos with a fallen leaf on the parking lot. I'll show you the leaf, and I can fan out into everything from there. into the whole world. Okay, so we zoom in on every subject, ecology, gardening, composting, the importance of self-sustainability, composting, the infinite importance of having your domestic animals in the house, okay, and have your farm animals, your barn animals in a heated barn, okay. That's ethics, that's compassion, that's kindness. That is the most important thing to do. The most important. That's the most urgent thing to do. Okay? Bring your dog, your cat, your rabbit, your dogs, all of your animals in the house, in the warm house. And keep them in the house. Okay? It doesn't matter what your social group says or your religion. Do the right thing. Do the ethical thing. Okay? Do the loving thing. Okay? Love your animal. Take care of your animal. They're dependent on you. Okay? You do it for your retarded child. Do it for the other beings as well. They're just as sentient. They're just as in need, and they get cold, they shiver, they feel the same feelings. They feel pain, they feel discomfort, just like your retarded child, or any child, or any adult human. Okay, same sentience. There are differences in IQ. Okay, that doesn't make one more valuable than the other. Okay. I'm speaking here for all beings. I hope people understand this. Okay. Statistics are there. Okay, they give us an insight into demographics. They give us an insight into DNA and so on, and that's important. We should not be ignoring that, but that doesn't give you the right to say, oh no, because you have the higher IQ, you have more rights than the other demographic or the other ethnicity or the other species. Okay, I hope that is understood. My message is anti-racism. I hope you understand this now. Okay. So, but a lot of people, they twist everything around, and they want to twist it. They want to misunderstand. They want to turn everything around. They want to... When I woke up today, I was already kind of thinking in terms of making a video. I was already energetically talking to the world, and because I observe so many misunderstandings in the world. And most of that is ego-based and out of intellectual laziness and selfishness and greed. Greed propaganda that wants to make people hate the other group. The greed propaganda, the corporate agenda, they turn us humans against each other. Because with that, they can manipulate you better. They can manipulate how you vote. Okay, what group you identify yourself with. Okay. Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm talked about this for, 40 or 50 years in their conversations. Don't identify yourself with a group, with a religion, with a party. Okay, don't do it. That's what leads into a social, economic collapse. Okay, that's what leads to civil wars. That's what leads to Black Lives Matter hate groups. That's what leads to people hating each other, okay? That's what leads to murder. That's what leads to world wars. Okay? So don't go for that. Don't accept that. There's so many things on my mind, so many things that I want to talk about. But this is the most important message here. Bring your animal into the house and give your farm animals a heated barn in the winter time. Don't let any living being shiver in coldness. Never, ever, ever let your pit bull type dog, with extremely short hair, or there are some dogs have no hair. Don't let any of those beings outside ever, okay? When they get very sick, they can get very violent bladder infection, where they die a gruesome death. This is torture. It is torture to expose a living being to cold temperature and making them experience hypothermia. This is torture. Don't do that to any living being. Okay? This is very important. It's a very important message for the world. That message comes directly from the blue God. Yes, baby dog. That's what it is. That's the truth. Yes. That is the truth. Your dog has to be on the couch, on warm blankets, with heaters on. Okay? We also have jackets for him here. You have to feel their ears. When the earlobes are cold, then they're cold. Okay? I'm going to do that right now. So, let's check his earlobes. Yeah, check the earlobes. You guys should check the ears. They're a little bit cold, so I'm going to put this here. See? This is what I do. I put this on, like this. Yeah. Even with the heater, I have to put this on. Yes. Yes, you got to do. Oh, yes, you got to do. Yes. Okay, so that's what I do. Okay? And then they feel good. Right? And that's how we have to do this. It's very important to do this. Very important message for the world. Don't take that lightly. Okay? So this is all karma. This is karmic energy. Don't accumulate karma on your life. Don't make someone else suffer. Because, and that brings me always back to what the shaman said. Shamans from the Ivory Coast of Africa that live or visited Texas, and for some shamanistic retreat and meeting, okay? And they told Rupert Isaacson that he has to quit that fox hunt in England if he wants his son Rowan to heal from a very severe case of autism, where he was psychologically very, 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 almost like psychologically crippled. I don't like to use that word because it gets misunderstood, but one can be psychologically so, and that has to do with energy. One can be so shackled to fear and autism and all of that it is like being crippled. That's the psychological form, okay? And he was so affected by bad energies, okay? I guess happened already in the womb, okay? Happened throughout his life until he started to heal this. And his parents did everything they could to help him heal. They did everything. They were very self-sacrificial, like absolutely total role model was that. And the shaman said that to him. And he asked them, is it because of animal rights? Is it because this is unethical? They didn't even want to get into all of this terminology with him. They knew it has to do with that. But all they said to him, look, we don't know why, but this is bad energy for your son. Okay, so, and they knew that very, very well. And they told him that his son is one of them, is also a shaman. Okay. And Native American person on the internet told me that the word shaman should only be allowed by Native Americans. I personally disagree with that. There's the word kindergarten comes from the German language. Should I go ahead and tell the same Native American, look, you cannot, when you send your child into a kindergarten, you are not allowed to use that word kindergarten. Only we Germans are allowed to do that. How would that person feel about this? Seriously, that would come across not just so wrong, it would come across also as Nazi stigmatized, and all of that baggage would be pulled up full force again, right? If I did that. Why does he have the right to tell me that I can't use the word shaman, or Rupert Isaacson can't use the word shaman for people from other cultures around the globe? Okay, so obviously there are shamans in Africa, there are shamans all the way around the planet. And shaman, I don't even know if this comes actually from the Native American languages, so I don't really know. I have to research this. So, but it means energy healer, so we can also use the word energy healer, but nobody monopolizes a word, But guess what? Our legal system is moving us in that direction, and then people think, oh, that must be ethical because that's our legal system. No, just because our legal system has something set up, that's not your philosophical imperative for your life, obviously. So the legal system could set something up that is on board with ethics and responsibility, obviously. But the corporate agenda tries to chip that away and turn it around. They want to take away animal rights and human rights so that they can exploit. Okay, just because they take away our rights or they monopolize certain words or certain statements or certain names with copyright infringement law, doesn't mean this is our philosophical imperative and this is our ethics law or something. No, it is a corrupt law that needs to be overturned, okay? That has no dictatorship over your life and your mind and your brain and your way of dealing with things, okay? Just because this is a totally unethical law doesn't mean this is not perfectly fine, and because it has been mandated by politicians. No, it's not. Absolutely not. Okay, Lawrence Kohlberg, the psychologist from the United States, I believe he is, Dr. Lawrence Kohlberg, talked about this in depth. Okay, just because we have a legal system doesn't mean this is the right way of living. This is an ethical way of living. Not at all. Okay. If we have a legal system that is unethical, it has been created like this by unethical people. That's why you have to question these things, and you have to question your country, your government, your military, and your religion. You have to question these things. You cannot be on board with something that is completely wrong and completely unethical and uncompassionate and hostile and divisive, causing war and so on. You need to question these things. Okay. It's very, very important. I think about these things all the time in my life, all the time. And I feel very responsible in bringing this message to the world. And this is the only way I can do it, through the internet. I don't know how else to do it. So, and I take my time for this, and not just when I'm making the video, also throughout the day I think about this, whatever I'm doing. Cleaning the house, sewing, painting. I think about these things non-stop. Okay. And because I feel responsible, because I want to make the world a better place. Okay. Yes, baby duck, you are my everything. That is what you are. Yes. Yes, he's a little bit upset because Paul left without him. But at least he's not alone. I'm still here. Okay. Itchy, itchy. You also have to put clay on your dog when they itch. And you have to dip a paper towel into earth clay or into a self-made diatomaceous earth cream. I make these creams all the time, and then you have to clean the ears out. You have to twist that, and you have to massage that into the ear canal, and you have to, yes, you are my everything. Yes, you are. Yes, yes, you are my everything. Oh yeah, yes. See, that's you in there. Sometimes you can see an animal in the video, but he has to be in the right mental focus for that. So yes, those are yours. We have these cardboard boxes there for him. But those are his favorite occupation, to shred up cardboard boxes. We let him do it, and then once they're all shredded, then I'll take an hour to pick all of that up and put it in the recycling bin. So that's what I do. So yeah, so I also wanted to talk about the composers. I think this is very important. Yes, you can have that one. Yes, you can. You can have that. Yes, you can have that box. Yeah, this is fun. Yes. They get bored. They have to. They have to shred things up. It's very important for them to do that. They like to shred stuff up with their mouth. It feels good. And that's a fun thing to do. And it gives them some exercise, particularly when it's cold and wet outside. He doesn't spend as much time outside. He doesn't get to run that much because he gets cold. Those Staffordshire Amstaff, American Staffordshire, they have extremely short hair, and they fall into the pit bull category. So they call all of these breeds pit bull, but obviously there are nuances between them. So the actual pit bull terrier is a little bit taller with a little bit longer legs. Baby dog, no, you cannot. And you have to be firm with them. You have to say no to them. Yeah, yes, that's good. There you go. There you go. You can have that. That's yours. Yes, that's yours. Yes, that is yours. All right. You have to be firm but loving. Okay. At all times. You can never ever ever holler at your animal in a mean way. You can never be mean. You can never ever ever hurt or never ever hit your animal. Ever 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 ever. Never ever hurt. Never ever hit. Never ever kick. Never ever do something that hurts them. Okay. Never hurt your animal. That also applies to psychology. Never insult your animal. That's bad energy. They feel it. They sense it. Okay. So never shout. Never scold them. They don't know. They don't even know why you're doing this. They don't understand that intellectually. They have a very limited range of intellectual, abstract understanding of language. Okay, so he has a wider range than our former dogs. So, but still, I mean, if I would talk to him and say, "Oh, why did you do that yesterday?" Obviously, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Okay. They are very much in the present with this. In the very present moment, he is going for whatever, a shoe or recliner chair or that box. In that very moment, you have to say no in a very stern way. And if necessary, you can use a spray bottle. And if they don't mind the water, you can put rosemary oil in it, or you can put tea tree oil in it. They don't like tea tree oil. It smells almost a little bit like gasoline, but it's healthy, so it doesn't hurt them or anything, but they don't like. So there are positive ways to train an animal, with love and dedication. You have to spend time with your animal at all time, like 24 hours. All animals, every animal needs a companion 24 hours per day. Okay. That's a fact. Okay. That's the same with your retarded child or any child. That's the same with you. That's why I am against prisons. I'm against imprisonment. That's the one thing I agree with Governor Newsom. I'm against imprisonment of any living being. Even someone who has done terrible things or imprisonment to others. Paul, I talked to Paul about this yesterday. Paul is very much for eye for an eye. Oh no, he's getting the Velociraptor now. Yes, he is getting the Velociraptor now. He is. This is what happens. They have to have They have exercise. They need exercise. They're desperate for exercise. This is really not ideal. So what he really needs is he needs to go on a 10-mile hike every day. But who can do it? I mean, there are very few people who are able or willing or who have the time for this, Go on a 10-mile hike or at least a 2-mile hike every single day, So yes, and even in wind and rain and storm and snow and ice and all of that. Yes, but we can't do it, obviously. But we've been taking him to the cemetery lately, near the other house, and there's a beautiful cemetery that has open fields still that are not that don't have any graves in them yet, and this is the perfect place for people to come with their dogs and let the dogs run free. And so we have been doing this now, letting him run free, but he doesn't even want to chase the frisbee, because when he's at the cemetery there are so many smells of other dogs and animals and so much to see, and he thinks it's so interesting that he is totally sidetracked. No, you cannot have that. You cannot have that. No, I'm gonna come with the spray bottle. No, you cannot have the the shop vacuum cleaner. No, you cannot have that. No, no. So he's also upset, that Paul left without him. So when they're a little bit upset or disappointed, they get this energy burst, Velociraptor energy burst, and they have to run and they have to do something to get that frustration out of their system. So, and we need to be there for them. We are their therapists. We are their parents, We are their caregivers. That's a good dog. Yes, it's a good dog. Yes, you did a little bit exercise now. You can get settled now. Yes, you can get settled. Yes, Paul is coming back in the moment. Yes, he is. Yes, that's Paul, by the way, in the painting. Yes, he's going shopping. He's paying the property tax. Ooh, gosh, over $2,000. Jeez, that's like we're paying rent on our own home, on this, and then the other house we had to pay the other day as well. So that's another. How much was that? Like 1,500 or something. So it's totally insane. Property tax is stealing money from people. That's what it is. It's governmental theft of individual people. It's completely wrong. It's completely unethical to do this. It's also unconstitutional. That used to not be the case like this. So this was supposed to be the land of the free, freedom for everyone. So obviously it has all been institutionalized and capitalized and corporatized, and government is corrupt, and people are pocketing money, and people are buying their own votes, and it is not cool. Okay, so that's why we want to sell the house. That's why we want to sell both houses and move to the desert and buy an agricultural property where we have to pay less property tax. And so that's my dream, and we've been talking about this now for the last couple of days. That is the ultimate dream. That's paradise for me, to get a large desert property with sagebrush growing on it, and get a tractor that does different jobs, an electric tractor that is, okay, maybe a Tesla tractor. He's not making that, but in the future he will. But electric tractor that does lawn mowing, that does weed whacking, sagebrush, bulldozing, stuff like that, cacti bulldozing and mulching and gravel roads, even out the land, bulldoze, even out an entire area. But that land that we saw is already level land, so it doesn't need that much work. That's really fantastic. There are no trees because it's full desert. There's sagebrush growing, but that doesn't grow very tall. That grows about 3 feet tall. And it's highly medicinal. Thank you, Blue God. 4444. Blue God says, yes, we are making this happen. And then we want to get a barn house a round metal building where the entire building is like a half tunnel, like a half circle, that's a dome tunnel. And they make those for barns, and we will use that in the summertime. We will put sprinklers on the roof for drip irrigation to bring the temperature down inside of the building. Brings the temperature down by 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It's amazing. And we want to get a commercial greenhouse in this about the same shape, half tunnel, like half dome tunnel, and large, they're like 100 feet long each, and about 30 or 40 feet wide. And I would like to have much larger dome tunnels, but we can't afford it. The architect said already, I contacted an architect, he laughed, he said, no, something like this built from scratch, like some kind of almost like a commercial structure like this, like rebar structure, steel, cement, glass, of that proportion would cost millions of dollars. So, but he said, obviously, you get that much cheaper if you go on the internet. There are places that pre-manufacture these things, like commercial greenhouses that are very large, that are also very strong and storm-proof and weatherproof. And there's one guy from China who's living in Alaska. I saw his YouTube videos. He showed the temperature difference. It was like 20 or 30 minus outside, and it was 75 degrees Fahrenheit inside of the greenhouse, and he was growing stuff all year round in there, and it was perfectly warm in there. So when I saw that, I had butterflies in my stomach. I thought, oh, this is the future, this is the way to go. Just in the same sense, these kind of structures, geodesic dome or dome tunnel structures, have to be set up on Mars for the same reason, because of extreme temperature, much more extreme temperature differences and extreme temperature escalations. I mean, it goes, I don't know, like 300 degrees Fahrenheit or something when the sun beats down on the land. And at night it goes down to, I don't know, 100 minus or more. I don't know exact numbers, but really extreme temperatures. Totally unlivable temperatures. You can just put your conventional wood house on there, your Amish wood house construction. That would never work. Okay, so you can put that inside of the dome house. Inside of the dome house, you have the freedom to put anything, construct anything you want, but you shouldn't build with wood, because wood is very vulnerable to water damage, termite damage, insect damage, and so on. Or mold. This is the total mold attractor. And mold is toxic. We shouldn't be breathing mold. So I've already got my dose of mold, big time. Yeah. With both of these houses, particularly the other one from 1930. So that has all kinds of different homemade, homegrown molds inside, and it's not good for us, for our health. Okay, so I'm sure that the mold spores have added to my nervous breakdowns. I'm sure of that. But I'm pretty resilient. I'm pretty tough. So I heal all of that. I'm immune to all of that. I have a very strong will and strong mind, and I have a Medusa inside of me. So I cry, I scream things out full blast. if I get cold, or if I feel discomfort, or if I have a serious flu, which I used to have before the pandemic broke out. I had several flus, and I caught one in a river, actually, during the summertime. My goodness, totally polluted rivers. You can't swim in a river anymore. People have polluted it all. So I caught something very, very severe, some kind of breathing virus problem, and it was really bad. I thought I was going to suffocate. It was terrible. Whatever I have, when I have something, I scream and cry it out. Most people don't do this. They have been told to suppress their emotions, and that's where the real problem begins. Okay, when people suppress their emotions, the immune system suffers. Then they become more crazy. They become a ticking time bomb, like that Brian trying to kill this woman he worked for. Mold can add to that as well. Okay, all of this, and suppression of emotions. I would say that is the root problem for all of these problems that we have worldwide with the human species. It's the truth, what I'm telling you. Okay. But I want to get into Mozart, Beethoven, and Bach, my three favorites. Obviously, they are also the three kings of music in general. All music genres. They are the kings. So they are above all the other ones. So all. You could disagree, but I know that for a fact, okay? Because these three geniuses, those three geniuses are directly connected to the infinite cosmos. Okay, directly. They were vessels. They were speakers. They were loudspeakers, basically, of the infinite cosmos. That's what they were. That's how much they were attuned to the infinite, to the blue God. You can hear that when you listen to the music, and I highly recommend you to listen to Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven, and that's the order in which they appeared on this planet. Okay, so Bach in the 1600s, late 1600s, Mozart in the 1700s, and Beethoven in the early 1800s. So Beethoven was a contemporary with the famous poet and philosopher Goethe from Germany, and I always loved his poetry. But these three composers, they are my absolute favorites, and all three of them are, I could not say which one is better than the other. There's no way you can say one is better than the other. You can have your preferences, but I would not say Mozart is better than the others, but the two compositions from Mozart, the Great Mass, which was written for the Christian Church, I don't know, that was still the Catholic Church, or it was the Lutheran, or whatever. I think the Lutheran evangelical, sort of. Since then, it branched apart into different others, so I don't follow how all of that, the religion evolves like evolution does, so, and their message does too, but Mozart was way beyond religion. He just happened to grow up in an era where there was no Charles Darwin, there was no evolution in people's minds. Okay, they didn't even know that things evolved. Nobody knew anything about anything. They were completely in the dark. But Mozart was a play child, and he was completely attuned, completely tapped into the infinite. And he was kind of like a savant. You know, he had a lopsided genius. The genius was in the field of language, music, I think also math went into that area of the brain as well. So very strongly attuned, very, very, very largely built out area of the brain. And then the other part, like the prefrontal cortex, the responsibility taking, being a good dad, or making sure that you have food on your table, making money, keeping the money. No, he could not do. He was not capable of doing it. That's why his mother went with him to different places where they were living, and I think Salzburg, Austria, towards the end. And his mother was very concerned about his mother, but he completely overrode her. She had absolutely nothing to say. When he wanted to party, he partied, and he spent all of their money, which caused them not to have heat in their house. And the mother died from pneumonia because her immune system shut down, because they didn't have enough heat to heat up their rooms that they were living in. And they were living in poverty. They were living very modestly because he wasn't paid the money that he should have been paid. For that music, he should have been given a palace. He should have been coronated as the king of Austria for that. He should have been given everything you can imagine. So it's very important for me to talk about this. It's heartbreaking for me to see a savant like Mozart, Johann Wolfgang von Mozart, living in poverty, being exploited by the Christian church. It's like, where's the composition? Like, they took everything for granted. And he would say, oh, I forgot to write it down. It's still in my head. Hang on, you write it down. I mean, that's how his brain was. It's like a genius of unimaginable proportions in the field of music. And so was Bach and Beethoven equally much. And so I can't say which one is more of a genius, but maybe, I don't know, maybe Mozart is more. I can't really say it. They're equal, okay? But my two absolute favorite compositions are the Great Mass and the Requiem by Mozart, that's for sure. I mean, they really tower over everything else. I love Bach. No, baby dog, no. Baby dog, no. Baby dog, you can't have it. No, you can't have it. You can. I have to. He's gonna get this. He's gonna get this. He's gonna get it. No, you cannot have it. You can't have it. No, you cannot have it. You cannot have it. You cannot have it. You can't have it. No. Can't have it. Can't have it. No. Cannot have it. See, that's what he does when I'm busy with something else. Then he takes that opportunity to pull stuff out of there, because he knows I'm not paying enough attention to the situation. So, and he pulls stuff out that he knows he's not supposed to have, because he wants my attention. I'm spending time with this computer a lot. And yes, and the other dogs didn't like that either. So it's like, here I'm talking to this thing here, okay? And I'm busy with this. My energy and my attention is focused on this, okay? I don't want to lose my train of thought. And that bothers him because my focus is not on him right now. So he has to do something to get my attention. Don't get mad at your dog for doing this. They are little children, and they always stay little children. And they want you to spend time with them. They want you to interact with them. They also need mental stimulation. They need to go for walks every day. I'm not the best role model with this, okay? But the message is still standing. You have to take your dogs for long walks. It's very important. So, and then I have OCD with the table. I think then I feel like I touched the table accidentally, and then I'm like, oh, I touched the table accidentally. This is my mental illness. I want to heal this, and I'm trying to heal it, but it's not easy. Obviously, all of this is not easy. So, and I have a little bit. I don't know if I'm a savant, but I have different areas in the brain that are stronger than the others. So definitely, I'm not interested in math that much, but if I spend time with it, I can get into it. That surprised me very much, because my family told me that none of us are good at math, but then so I thought, okay, then I'm not good at math then. I was never interested in it, because why should I be interested in just abstract numbers, number calculation? That doesn't make any sense. But for some people, they see beauty in that. So, and for some people like Mozart, that even goes into this part of the brain, where they can see some beauty in this. And like, for example, mathematician, Professor Dr. Georg Cantor from Austria got into infinity calculations, and he just thought that was incredibly beautiful. But it made him crazy, because he got threatened by the religious people, because he was dealing with infinity. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to get started with this. Infinity is God. Infinity is the blue God. You talk about God all the time. Allah. Okay. That's infinity. Okay. But the name Allah implies all. But that's already misunderstanding by human. The German word all, which is related to Allah, which is related to the English word all. A-L-L. Okay. So that's a misunderstanding. That only applies to here on Earth. Okay, I can say all computers. Okay, then I'm correct, because at some point I have calculated in every computer. I've added every single computer into a number. Now I have a number of maybe what's the number of computers we have on this planet? Maybe 1 billion, I don't know, I'm just guessing, right? But there will come the end of the calculation, and you can say all. This is all. That's all we have. When we go into the infinite cosmos, there's no such thing as all. But the Germans misunderstand it and say das all, the all, the infinite. But it's infinite. But they call it all. They call it all, Weltall, okay, which translates to universe. This is a misunderstanding, because the infinite cosmos can never be calculated into a finite number. Okay, it's infinite. Professor Cantor was dealing with this mathematically, and he was very intrigued. But it kind of drove him nuts, the calculations, in the end, because at that time, he was still, I don't know when that was, in the 1700s. Okay. They, again, like the time of Mozart, they weren't ready, I guess, to embrace that, what they call God, in its fullest. And again, that word is a misunderstanding again. How can you understand it in its fullest when there is no, you don't reach the end? Okay. How can you say this is all or this is full? My understanding of this is complete or full or all. You can never say that, because something that's infinite can never be fully understood, because it is infinite. That is the nature of it. So it is infinitely going, and we can infinitely explore it. Yes, you are a beautiful, beautiful dog. That is what you are. Yes, you. That is your beautiful dog, are you? Yes, that is what you are. Yes, that's a good dog. Yeah, I have to straighten that out. I have to put that somewhere else. So never get mad at your animals for pulling something out of the shelf. They just want your attention. If you want to protect your shoes or your cardboard boxes, you have to put it up high on the shelf. It's very important. But again, Mozart, that's why I wanted to bring Mozart into the subject of protect your beings. Mozart was also really our protege, and I came much later after Mozart. Even my former incarnations, I don't think I had an incarnation during the time of Mozart. I don't think I did. So Mozart that's very, very horrific. If I had been there, I would have done anything I could to protect Mozart and his mother and his dog. Okay, so he loved his dog, and he wrote letters to his family in back at home, and he told them, you have to take the dog outside every day. This is very important. So he had a good heart. But he was also a play child, and he didn't like hanging out with the very with the proud citizens that were mentally very, very stagnated and crystalline. So no, he liked hanging out with hookers, because they were more like him. They were play children. They were open, they were also proteges, They didn't know how to put bread on their table. So they ended up like that, But he ended up with them. He liked to hang out with them because they were more open to everything. Okay. He was also very sexual, and he was alive, and he was embracing himself, and that's good. But he needed someone to take care of him, He needed the governments worldwide. He needed all rich people to give him anything he wants, He needed to be put into a drug rehab facility, but a huge one with the castle, okay, because he was getting into all kinds of things, He was too much like a little child, okay, like a little dog pulling stuff out of the shelf, He would drink alcohol, would do all kinds of things, do kind of pranks, and like immature. He needed to be protected from his own immature actions, okay? But on the other hand, he had this unimaginable genius of music, like Professor Cantor had with mathematics, okay? And the two compositions, the Requiem and the Great Mass, they are the absolute, they are the ultimate, they are infinity. They are windows into the infinite cosmos. Okay, and people like Mozart, geniuses that come to this world to give us such presents. Those people need to be protected. Like your dogs that give you love, they need to be protected. Elon Musk is an engineering genius that has never existed on this planet before. He needs to be protected, not attacked by the corporate agenda with their corporate greedy middleman from the former Twitter employees. Okay. What they did to Elon Musk is unethical. It's a horror. It's ungrateful. Okay. This is a genius of infinite proportion. He's here to help us in the nick of time. Take care.